Good day, mates. I'm Shidong. I'm from Australia. I'm from the Australian National University and CSIRO's Data 61. And today it's my pleasure to present my paper titled Is a Trap, a large-scale empirical study and comprehensive assessment of online automated privacy policy generators for mobile apps. So before I start, I want to share a fun fact about this paper. So initially, I submitted this paper to software engineering venues and keep rejecting like 3 times in a row, and the marks get lower and lower. And one reviewer said there's no scientific contribution of this paper. And then I decided to move to another community, which is USENIX security, and luckily it's got accepted. So they say the right storage is for right people, and you are the right people for this paper. Yeah, so privacy policies. In this session, people have discussed many privacy policies, and we see some very lengthy and so-called comprehensive privacy policies, such as the Meta's policy. And also, there are some other mobile apps. They are much less popular than those big apps. And for example, this easy communication app, this app is for people who have some communication issues to chat and communicate with only around 1,000 installs, and their policy contains only 156 words. And the privacy policy actually is the pivot of current software privacy ecosystem. So we have software applications, and developers, of course, they develop such apps. And the privacy policy serves as the kind of the bridge between the software application with the more high-level privacy laws, and of course, the end users. Basically, users can only reading the privacy policy or the privacy labels to understand what's going on in your app in terms of privacy and security. And in this paper, we actually focus on more regulation-driven studies. So whether the privacy policy comply against the regulations, and whether this policy is problematic or not. And in our community, we have there are already many studies investigated this problem on USENIX, or some of them are from software engineering community. So the conclusion is common. So those policies are problematic. So in this paper, our motivation is, okay, those policies are problematic, and where did those problematic policies come from, right? If we can track down the source of those evils, so we can eliminate them once and for all. So we on the Google Play console, which is the backend of every apps on the Google Play Store, there is a section requires the developers to provide a privacy policy. So no matter you are a citizen developer, no matter you are big companies for Meta or for Snapchat, you have to provide a privacy policy here. And for most of citizen developers, or for most of developers who develop less popular apps, they do not have sufficient legal support or legal resources to draft or craft a very comprehensive privacy policy. So what they can do? So probably they just copy, paste, and modify from others, right? Or nowadays we have GPT. We can ask GPT to generate one, right? Maybe there's something else, and the answer is yes, there is something else. The online automated privacy policy generator, which we call APPG, is kind of a solution. So that's a very typical APPG looks like. So basically, it's most of them are questionnaire based. So basically, as a developer, you're gonna answer a bunch of questions about kind of what personal information do you collect from user, and you just tick several boxes, and eventually you will be you can get a privacy policy. And here is like more different types of APPG, like questionnaire-based, UI-based, and document-based, etc., etc. So we found that actually many people are using those APPG to generate their privacy policies. So we started this research to systematically investigate how those APPG are actually applied in practice. So here is the overview of our overall methodology. So we first collect data from online resource. We collect apps from the Android Zoo, which is a popular Android application dataset. And also we collect APPG from searching engine. And then we process those data, and then we conduct data analysis to answer 3 research questions. The first research question is about the APPG themselves. And the second research question is a market penetration analysis. So we want to know the scale of the popularity of APPG in market. And the RQ3 is about the analysis of generated policy from those APPGs. So for the first RQ is we call it the characterization of APPGs. So in addition to the more traditional questionnaire-based or questionnaire mode APPG, there are also 2 other types of APPG, which we call UI mode and document mode. So for the UI mode, you do not need to answer a bunch of questions. Instead, you're gonna in a kind of selection user interface, and you need to kind of searching and select all the third-party library or permissions you're gonna use for your app, and then they will generate a policy for you. And for the document mode one, it's kind of like a legal document library. So you can pay to unlock a certain legal document for your software, of course, your mobile apps. And those documents are kind of like fixed. So you just kind of purchase those documents. And then we conduct more characteristic analysis of APPGs. So we, from the software engineer's perspective, so we examine how those APPGs are friendly or easy to use for the system developers who are gonna use them. So we examine the extent of data use, the customizability, so whether you can edit this policy once it's generated. And third is user instruction, whether they provide sufficient instructions for people who use this APPG first time. And also the complexity and publishing support. We also check whether those APPG claims to support certain regulations. So you can see most of them claim that they can support GDPR and CCPA, and only one, the first APPG, which is called Ubanda, the only one claimed to support the LGPD, which is the data protection law in Brazil. And also we examined whether it's their readability and multilingual support, because certainly we do not want it can only generate English policy, but also in other language. And you say only the first one support multi-language, but all of us only support English. And more specifically, we conduct a more specific analysis of the APPG's recognition of data use. This means like you are a developer and your app are trying to, let's say, access the microphone permission or location permission, and whether this APPG support you to put such claim or disclosure in this policy or not. So we do this manual analysis and present the results in the big tables, and you can check the full paper for details. And then our second research question is about the prevalence of APPG in market, which is a market penetration. So in conclude, the market occupancy ratio of 10 examined APPG is around 20%, so one-fifth, which is a quite significant portion. And the way we do that is we use 2 methods. So one is fingerprint keyword searching. By saying fingerprint keyword is that for each certain APPG, they will put their brand or names in either the website link, URL link, or in their generated policy document. So you see here this APPG is called terms feed. So we can easily track down the fingerprint keyword here. And also we conduct document similarity comparison. So basically we just use the cosine similarity and some NLP processing to check the similarity between existing policies and the boiler template from those generators to make sure whether they are actually generated by the one of the APPG. And there are other two interesting findings here. So on the left-hand side is the app category versus the adoption rate. So, and the bar chart denotes the average dangerous permission required by those by a certain app category. So we see a very kind of interesting finding. So for apps who need more dangerous permission, the potential the adoption rate is lower. And for apps with less dangerous permission, the developers of them are more willing to use APPG. And on the right-hand side is app downloads versus adoption rate. So when it's from 1 to around 1,000 installs, the adoption rate increase. And when the app becomes much more popular, when apps is over like 10,000 install something, the adoption rate dramatically drops. So which confirms our intuition. And the third research question is about the compliance of APPG against regulation. So if you are interested in the details of which regulation it actually violates, you can check the full paper. And one interesting finding I want to share is the second APPG we examined, which its name is actually the app privacy policy generator. It's the most popular one. Has over 70% adoption rate in the market. But it basically doesn't comply with any regulations. So it's a very, very simple tool. And just 1 minute, you can finish that privacy policy. And the quality is very low. So our conclusion is users tend to select easy to use APPG, even though at the cost of a potential higher risk to breach privacy regulation. So here are our conclusions. We examined the usability of APPG, the market penetration, the non-compliance, and also for the APPG mode, the question mode can better guide users to include more the permission they need to claim better than the UI mode. And also we conduct analysis for the privacy policy contradiction. I mean the generated policy. They have some self-contradict disclosures. And those are in the RQ3 in our papers. And finally, we bring some implications and findings to stakeholders. For the APPG users, they need to carefully select those APPGs. And for the APPG providers, maybe they should to provide better APPG to meet the the market need and also to adapt to the dynamic regulations. And for the regulators, they should recognize the importance of these issues and better engage with this market trend. And that's the end of my first presentation, and thanks for listening.